Life Love Lessons Series 2 is designed with men in mind. Yes, men. Brothers, listen. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You have uncovered capacity for abundant living and loving. Hi, I am Teacher Hazel. Teaching is my ministry. I invite you, I challenge you to listen and learn some secrets that I will share with you in Life Love Lessons with Men in Mind. Note, living abundantly is your legacy. Greetings, hello, and welcome to Series 2 of Life Love Lessons. This is Lesson 8 of 8 Life Love Lessons with Men in Mind. Lesson 8 is entitled Love and Let Live. So, I'm Reverend Dr. Teacher Hazel Ann Gibbs de Pisa, better known as Teacher Hazel. My intention, as always, is to encourage you to love the life you live and live a life you love, and to empower you to access the more abundant life that Christ came to give us by revealing and unraveling some of life, love lessons. As it's our last session, just to tell you a little more about me, I'm a teacher by profession, I'm a teacher by calling. Teaching is my ministry. I'm also a transformational life coach and a life mastery consultant. I conduct Loving Your Life self-development workshops and seminars, as well as group and individual coaching and consulting. And tonight we begin with an acknowledgement of our Creator and Sustainer as usual. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God sustains us. Wherever we are, God is. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. I thank God for you, and I thank you for being here with me. It is my pleasure to welcome you to Life Love Lessons with Men in Mind, Lesson 8. So welcome each and every one of you to Life Love Lessons with Men in Mind. And women, just as the men were welcome to Series 1, you are welcome to participate in Series 2. We are in this life together. Let me just remind you of a few of the lesson nuggets before we move into our 8th lesson for this series of Life Love Lessons with Men in Mind. And so, brother, I am a spiritual being currently sojourning in physical form, having a human experience. Yes, that's one of the things you want to keep with you. I am infinitely valuable, exquisitely unique, and perfect in my personhood. Yes, perfect in my personhood. And I'm sure you remember that you are, and I'm saying it, I am for you, I am a powerful instrument in the symphony of life. My perception is my reality. My thoughts create my world. And God made everything perfect, including me. So, those are some of the nuggets that you need to remember and repeat sometimes. So, let me welcome those who are on for the first time. And I encourage you, if this is your first time here, to check out the earlier lessons in Series 2. And while you're at it, check out the lessons in Series 1. They are all available in Abundant Life Mastery at the call on YouTube. You are also welcome to like, comment, and subscribe. That way, you will know what's happening next. So, life love lessons with men in mind. Lesson 8. Love and let live. Why love and let live? We usually say live and let live. Yes? Meaning, don't take all for yourself, take some and leave some for someone else. Not you alone want to live. Let somebody else get a chance to live too. And that's only fair, yes? Yes. But love and let live takes us into some new dimensions because we are adding heart to the equation. And the heart is quite important. You remember the meaning of faith? Faith. Faith is finding answers in the heart because the heart is the source of love. It is where the kingdom of God is established. Romans 10:10 tells us, with the heart man believeth unto righteousness. And of course, we have some common sayings about love. Love is a feeling that burns inside. Yes? And love is what makes the world go round. You know the little chorus? It's love that makes the world go round. And then there is love is a verb, it's an action word. So love is something you do. But love is also a choice. Yes, we choose to love or not love. Of course, some people don't understand love well and they think that love is just tolerance or just providing necessities. But love is much more than that. Love is God, and God is love. Yes? So let us begin by identifying 4 brands that will be trending here. Love, the love of God. Love, the love of self. Love, the love of neighbor. And love, the love of life. Yes, because it is love and let live. So I know that some persons may have been thinking that we would have been going into agape love and eros love, and no, we're not walking down that road tonight. That's for another time and another place. Tonight we are going with the love of God, the love of yourself, the love of your neighbor, and the love of your life to show you that you love and let live. So, our first question then, do you love God? And I know some people would quite willingly say, yes, of course I do. But do you love God with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind? There's a Bible reference in Matthew 22 when Jesus was asked, what is the great commandment in the law? And he said, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. So, do you love God that way? With all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind? That means that you're surrendering everything to Him. And do you love God unconditionally? Mm-hmm. And that's a tough one because, we love God. We say we trust Him, we're happy with Him, and everything else. But then when things don't go our way, hmm, we're not so sure that we love Him because we quarrel with Him and we vex with Him and we find He should have made things happen differently. Hmm? But understand that God so loved you that He gave His only begotten Son. God loves you unconditionally and eternally. We're told that He showed His love for us even when we weren't even thinking about Him. He showed His love for us from the very beginning. So much so that knowing that He was giving us free choice and that we're likely to do any nonsense with it, He made a way to redeem us if and when we went astray. And no matter what we do, He loves us. He wouldn't love what we do, but He loves us. As we would say in our circles, He doesn't love the sin, but He loves the sinner. And He loves us eternally. And He makes Himself available to us. You remember one of the super senses? Intuition? Yes. Intuition, the capacity to notice and commune with the infinite guidance system. Because God, infinite intelligence, speaks every day to every single person on the planet. Because intuition is the whisper of the soul. So prayer is when we talk to God, and intuition is when God is talking to us. But of course, if we don't listen, we don't hear. Remember, it's a whisper. He doesn't come shouting out loud, making a whole lot of noise. It's a whisper. But He is there always, and He is speaking to us and guiding us. But we have to listen for that still small voice. And when we hear it, we have to acknowledge and accept that it is wisdom that we can't even comprehend that He is providing us with. So, your first question to consider, do you love God? The next question, do you love yourself? Do you love yourself? When you look in the mirror, are you happy? Or do you begin to find fault? My nose too big, my ears too long, my lip too thick, my skin too dark, my hair too hard. Hmm? Do you love yourself? You know, there's an exercise that I would usually give my clients where they have to look in the mirror and tell themselves, I love you. Look in the mirror and look in the eyes of the person you are seeing in the mirror and say, I love you, and mean it. And say it until the person looking back at you believes what you're saying. Because you could look and say, I love you, but the person looking back at you doesn't really believe that because it doesn't sound sincere. And it's being said with some doubt. So you need to spend some time talking to that person that you see in the mirror and loving that person. We would have done a little mantra. I am me, I love the me that I am. And we know the importance of that because I am is the name of God. And we have the privilege to use that, I am, in order to make that connection with God. I am me, the real me, the spirit me, not just this physical frame. And I love the me that I am. In other words, I love what God has done. What He made, what He provided me with, I love that. Because remember, He made everything perfect, including you. And we remember the Bible reference in Matthew a little while ago when Christ would have answered the first and great commandment, and then He went on. He said, and the second is like unto it, thou shalt love, and I'm going to jump over something, thyself. It reads, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. So if it's as, then it means that you have to first love yourself. So thou shalt love thyself. God made you. Everything He made was perfect. He made sure of that. So the least we could do is to love what He has made for us. And the importance of loving yourself is because if you love yourself, you will think about yourself in a particular way, bearing in mind that how we think directly affects how we live. Remember, our thoughts create our world, right? So we have freedom of choice. We choose our life story. So we can choose to love ourselves or we can choose to hate ourselves. And yes, some people hate themselves. Don't you think that that's a slap in God's face? After He took the time to make you out of love and to prepare everything for you that He has prepared, and then you don't love yourself. Hmm? Because remember our choice whether we make it conscious or not, and we spoke about that, will determine our thoughts. And in our lessons, we learned that thoughts are energy, energy vibrates, and that like vibrations attract like vibrations. So, with love in the equation, the results change. Huh? So, do you love yourself? Honestly? Our next question: do you love your neighbor? And your neighbor is not just the person living in the house next to your house. We know that. Your neighbor might be some lovely little children whom you don't mind dealing with, or they might be some really raucous little children who you wish they didn't live there. Hmm? Or your neighbor may be of any ethnicity, of any race, of any color, of any religion, of any kind of attitude. Do you love your neighbor? Listen to this verse, not John 3:16. 1 John 3:16. Hereby perceive we the love of God, because he laid down his life for us. And we ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. Ah, how can we demonstrate this kind of sacrificial love? Do you think we need to go die on a cross or take a bullet for someone? No. We can give love through giving our time, our attention, a listening ear, some caring, a little protection. It simply requires us to look beyond our own needs and see the needs of others. Yes? Just to be selfless, to be patient, to be kind. Love your neighbor, no matter what shape or size or color they come in. And let's go back to that reference in Matthew. And the second is like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor. And we know that it is as thyself. So we're loving the self, because if you don't have love, you can't give love. So that's another reason why you have to love yourself. If you don't have love, you can't give love. If you don't love yourself and you keep telling people that you love them, you're just fooling them and fooling yourself. Right? You can't give what you don't have. And bear in mind that the verse after that says, on these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. So that these two commandments of loving God with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind and all your strength and all everything you have, loving yourself and loving your neighbor as yourself, everything hangs on that. And we get that repeated in Galatians 5:14. For all the law is fulfilled in one word, even in this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Why do we need to love our neighbor? Because you came into this life to make a difference in your neighbor's life. Your life has purpose. And the purpose is, as a representative of God, as a replica of him made in his own image, We have to share the love, make a difference in somebody else's life, a positive difference. So, do you love your neighbor, or do you pick and choose who you will consider your neighbor? And do you decide sometimes if they're good enough, you would love them, but if they're not good enough, you wouldn't? And when your neighbor is your brother or your sister who gets on your last nerve, mm, do you love your neighbor? Think about it. And our fourth question: do you love your life? Now, this is a different question from the others. Eh? Do you love your life? Is this your best life? It doesn't matter where you stand in the ranking of things. You have a number of images there. It doesn't matter which one reflects you. Do you know that you have greatness in you? Doesn't matter what your role is in terms of the work you do, the level at which you operate, the authority that you have, who you have under you, how much wealth you have. Do you know that you have greatness in you? And are you living your dream? Which dream? The dream that resides in your heart. There is a dream that resides in your heart. Are you living your dream? Do you even remember your dream? Do you still know how to dream? You know, the sad thing is that in our culture, as little children, we have all kinds of dreams and we want to be everything. And very often, our dreams are beaten out of us because you want to be an astronaut. Where you ever hear they have astronauts coming from this little village that you living in this street that made out of mud? And they will pound it out of you because that dream too big for you as far as they are concerned. Think about the dreams that you have or that you have had. Are you living your dream? And remember, no dream is too big because we serve a God who is bigger than everything. And bear in mind that everything is created twice. You remember that? First in the thought, in the spirit realm, in the dream, and it must happen there before it manifests in the physical realm, that which we call reality. So if you have no dream, then there's nothing to manifest, there's nothing to become. So if you've forgotten about your dream, look for it again. Recall your dream and think about what you would really love your life to be and dream about it and put some energy into it. And remember, the energy will vibrate. And when you allow positive vibrations to go after the dream that you have, like vibrations attract like vibrations, and things will come into being for you. You see, you need to remember that you are connected to infinite wisdom. Abundant life is calling you. One of our writers said the tragedy in life is not that we die, but what dies within us while we live. Have you allowed your dream to die so that you don't love the life that you are living? There are ways to change that. You can learn to focus on your dream and to build the energy that will vibrate and attract your dream to you. And remember, this is your dream. We're not talking about your parents' dream for you. We're not talking about society's dream for you. We're talking about your dream. Because you may tell yourself, well, everybody looks up to the doctors and the lawyers and the presidents and the whatever. But that may not be what you want. You may not be interested in that. You may love to be in a garden, planting and reaping, and get a joy from being with the earth. And if that's your dream, it doesn't matter what other people think. Because when you follow your dream, you are happy. There are lots of people who have followed other people's dreams and they are in high positions and prestigious positions and they are as unhappy as hell. Follow your dream. Love your life. You remember the superpower of imagination? Yes. Use your imagination to build your dream. And remember, if you believe it's possible, then it's possible. Because your perception is your reality. Remember that. And you don't have to worry about the circumstances around you. Because it's not what happens that counts, it is how you respond to it. That is what matters. How you respond to it. And we talk about your perception being your reality. You know that your perception is colored by your experiences and your thoughts. But remember, perception is the capacity to evolve and expand the meaning we give to our experience. That's why it's a super power, a super sense, right? Perception is also our capacity to find the seed of good inside everything. We looked at Mandela's experience and how he was able to grow, to climb the stairs of thought, in spite of and because of the situation that he found himself in, having to spend 25 years in jail. So I'm saying to you, it's your life, it's the only one you have. Make it a good one. Love your life. You can choose to love your life, or you can choose to hate it and make yourself miserable. Love your life. Yes? And remember, of course, the intent of this series is that you love the life you live and live a life you love. So we come back to today's topic: love and let live. When you do not love your God, yourself, your neighbor, your life, then you're not really living. Love and let live. Don't spend your whole life dying. Spend your life living. Because when you add love to the equation, the life living improves exponentially. Yes? And of course, we can go deeper into that at some other time, not now. So, love and let live. And when we look at this slide that is before you, it says love is the answer. What is the question? Doesn't matter what the question is. Love is the answer. Hmm? All we need is love. Love is all we need. Yeah, and you're saying to yourself, really? You had to be crazy. No, I'm not. Love is all you need. Because where there is love, there is life. Christ even told his disciples, men shall know that you are my disciples if you have love one to another. Love. Hmm? And of course, our natural state is divine connection to source love, to God. Remember, God is love, love is God, right? And of course, a loving connection to all living things. And if we look at the diagram that you've seen a few times if you've been following, that nexus in the center where the infinite spiritual being meets on the bar across in the finite physical being. That point, which is the now, that is the same point of love. So if you stay in connection, which is your natural state, connection with the divine, connection with the source of love. If you stay in connection and you also have loving connection to all things, living things around you, then all things are possible. Love is the answer to every question. God is love. And God is the answer to every question. What are we told? Seek first the kingdom and all things will be added. Focus first on that connection with God, that connection with source love, with unconditional, eternal love. And once that is working, all things will be added. When you have love, you have it all. And the love we're talking about is not like and prefer, is not tolerate and put up with. It is that genuine acceptance of who we are as spiritual beings having a human experience and remembering our connection with the divine and knowing that love is the answer to every question. And when we love, we let live. The dying takes place when there's no love. You know, there are a lot of diseases that we have that have been traced to bitterness and anger and hatred and stress. They've even done experiments with plants. They've put plants in a situation where the people seeing about them love the plants and talk to the plants. And those plants bloom. And they've put the same seed, the same young plants in other situations where people woofing up the plants and telling them they don't like them and all kinds of negative thoughts. And those plants wilt and cannot bloom. Love is the answer. It doesn't matter what the question is. When you have love, you have it all. Because everything takes on a different color when there is love. You know, I like to use the example of husband and wife. When you are in love, husband come home, drop down in a chair, oh God, I'm tired. And the wife will lovingly take off his shoes for him, pick up the bag and carry it, bring something cold for him to drink. And when the love isn't there, for whatever reason, you're so lazy, you can't get up and I must take off your shoes as your slave. I must bring water for you to drink. Why? Warm to your hand, warm to your foot. The difference is the love. Yeah, love makes all the difference. Love is the answer, no matter what the question is. And so that brings us to our question and answer section. And I'm saying to you, men, brothers, fathers, uncles, sons, again, become the I am of the power that is breathing you and let go of the I am of ego and personality. And I remind you that gratitude is the attitude of altitude, where love resides and where forgiveness dwells. Yes, love is the answer. no matter what the question might be. And so I am open to your questions and comments. And tonight, because it's our last session until series 3 begins, I'm giving you some station identification, hmm? Just some contact information so that you remember. And if you need to, right? So the Claiming Abundant Living line, the call. It's a teaching, coaching, consultancy service that I have. And you know who I am by name. And I am also a teacher, educator, coach, and a life mastery consultant. And I've given my email, my phone number, my YouTube address, so that you can contact me if you wish. But even more than that, I want you to remember that you are in this place at this time for a purpose. And that no matter what the situation may be around you, if you focus on your purpose, if you hold to your dream, if you stay in connection with divine intelligence and divine love, things will be different. Because God has already made a way for you. It's just for you to wake up and walk in your purpose. Love and let live. You got it? Love and let live. The more you love, the more you live, and the more you allow others to live, the more you help others to live. Because when you have love, you have everything. No questions or comments coming in? So we've come to the end of tonight's lesson. Lesson 8, Love and Let Live. The final lesson in series 2, Life Love Lessons with Men in Mind. So my brothers, fathers, uncles, cousins, sons, friends, I hope that you have enjoyed being with me as much as I have enjoyed being with you. And that you have learned some of life, love lesson. Because you would realize that there is so much more to life than what we are generally aware of. Remember, if all you see is what you see, you're not seeing all that there is to see. Yes? And I'm encouraging you to review the lessons that we have done, because we know that there's a lot of baggage to be gotten rid of, but we can't just do it in one day. And you need to spend some time because you have to unmask and you have to get rid of some of the baggage and you have to become aware of what is and what is not. And you have to get into the fullness of the understanding that you are a spiritual being, just spending some time in the physical realm, having a human experience, but that the true you is the spiritual being. And that spiritual being, the true nature of that spiritual being is constant contact with divine intelligence. And the reason we are tossed to and fro, and a lot of the things that we go through, is simply because that connection is broken. And you know that if you have electricity or internet connection, and if there's some break on the line, then things don't work out the way they should. So that yes, you may be getting light, but not the amount of light that you can get. Or yes, you may be getting some connectivity, but not the kind of connectivity that will give you clear sounds and pictures. Mhm. Yeah, so that connectivity needs to be repaired. And don't blame yourselves for what is wrong. What you need is to simply become aware of what the truth really is about life. Without the awareness, you don't understand. And therefore, you will do what you can with what you think you have and what you think you are able to do. But if you become aware of how much more you have at your disposal, then you will find that you can do more. So the awareness is important. Love and let live. So at this point, we see each other again at series 3. I want to thank you for being with me through series 2, and I'm looking forward to sharing with you in series 3. And as you go, I'm asking again that you make every effort to love yourself. It's the only self you have. To love your life. It's the only life you know. To live abundantly. It's your birthright. To love God. It's your purpose for being here. And to love your neighbor as you love yourself. Love, joy, peace, blessings to you. Thank you, and bye bye. See you next series. And like I said, if you subscribe to the channel, it means that you will have the opportunity to know when new things are coming on, because I have to be more active than I am with my work, and so other things will be taking place. God bless. Bye bye. And thank you again. It has been a pleasure.